Buongiorno, everyone. It is that time of the week again.
It's beer time.
It's also podcast time, but mainly beer.
Right.
Really. That's what we are for.
Forgot we're doing one of them.
Yeah. Well, it's just an added bonus.
What time this week?
Football, mainly, unfortunately.
Yeah. Can we change subject? Beers?
Beers, I will just run through beers. What you got there?
It's a good question. What have I got? I have the cult leader,
Classic
5.5% Mosaic Pale Ale from the Anarchy Brew Co.
Oh, Mosaic Pale Ale. Lovely
Why is
stuff.
it the Anarchy Brew Co? That's where we are.
That's where we are. That's right. We are here live and direct from Anarchy Brewery. You can see in the background there. Normally, where we're looking now, you can see the massive
Turned around.
tankers. We've turned around here in the fantastic settings of Anarchy Brewery.
And it is fantastic.
It is. It's very fantastic. And for you listening on Spotify and stuff, thank you very much. Make sure you leave a 5-star review. You can catch a podcast on all audio platforms as well. But in this week's episode, we're going to talk profit and sustainability rules.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, when I say we'll talk there, we're going to talk them very lightly because who the hell knows what they mean? Do they mean Newcastle can spend more money? Does it mean anything
Probably
else? As always, get your questions in the live chat and see one straight away there. House sacked before the end of the season, ? We'll answer those towards the end. We've got our topics in line. So obviously going to do a quick reflection, not much, on Chelsea last night. No need for that. We don't need to do that anymore. Skim past. Skimsies. The news of Anthony Gordon's proposed long-term injury that's been leaked on Twitter tonight. Let's see how real that is. We'll talk about that. And we'll touch on Eddie Howe's feature as well. But first of all, the profit and sustainability rules. The Premier League had a meeting yesterday to discuss these apparently coming into force this summer. So I'm going to read out.
I think it was as early as this summer, isn't it?
As early
if
as
it
this
means
summer.
anything better for Newcastle, then speed
Yes,
it up, please. Come on.
But from what I got so far, it just looks like it's just going to help the big clubs. But for now, let's read through it then. So, the Premier League's profit good start, isn't it?
Start again.
Right, yeah. Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules are to be replaced as early as this summer. You got it right? Exact words.
Yeah.
Someone read the article. I'm doing it right now. The new system will be aligned with the UEFA's squad cost ratio rules. So new regulations will not affect the ongoing cases of Everton, Forest and Man City, who are obviously facing points deductions. The latest rumour is, Everton could get another 2-3 points after being handed back a few points. They're going to get a few more taken away. Tell me the point of that, please.
Did they have 10 points deducted and now it's only 6?
Now it's 6.
I thought it was. I thought I was going fucking crackers. I must have missed that news because I was looking at the league the other day and I seen like 6 points deducted and I was like, I'm sure it was 10.
I dreamt it was 10.
I'm absolutely positive it was 10. So at least I'm not going crackers anyway.
No.
I don't know how I missed that news, but no.
So
at least I was right.
What they're saying now, though, is that they're going to dock off another 2 or 3, though, just to level things out a bit because they've missed something else. So,
well, straight away, I think the day after the news of the 10-point deduction, not the 6-point deduction, there was like, they could be getting over something else. Can't catch a break, these toffees.
May as well just get rid of the toffees. And get rid of the Forest as well, really, because Nottingham Forest are facing a good 6 points, apparently, as well. That could come into force. Man City. No, it's not like they've signed 43 players in the past year. So, don't know how they thought they were going to get away with that one. But Man City as well, obviously. Now they've got 115 charges looming. But as always, it seems to take a long time, doesn't it? Compare Everton and Forest. Bang! Straight away, there's your charges.
Yeah, I know.
But if you're a Manchester City,
it has been donkeys, to be fair, though. Because when they meant to get it must have been about 2019, 2020. I'm sure I remember seeing news. I remember because it was like an old place that I worked. I remember seeing the news that they were meant to be getting like a ban from the Champions League or something like that. I think it did, but then it
took too long,
or something.
so it kind of got wavered.
How long has this been? Like, this obviously, no one wants to touch Man City. That feels like they're untouchable, even though they know they're corrupt. It's not getting that, would it?
No. Just keep winning everything. Just keep winning trebles back to back and do what you want. Anyways, let's get into this article and what they are saying on Sky Sports. So, in line with UEFA's financial sustainability regulations, the Premier League will limit clubs participating in European competitions to only spend 70% of revenue on transfer fees, wages, and so on. So the change is, apparently so far, 70% is what you can spend. So if you make 70% on revenue, that's how much you can then spend on transfer fees, player wages, and so on. The Premier League has been looking at a model enabling clubs to spend up to 85% of revenue on squad costs. So a little bit more than that 70% that UEFA allow, with a sliding scale of penalties in place where clubs exceed that ratio, points deductions. However, there is no guarantee that the new financial model will be signed off at the league's annual general meeting in June, but they are confident of it being done. If approved, we just said that the new rules won't affect those clubs that are currently in investigation: Forest, Everton, and City. So a Premier League statement at the start of the week yesterday. Shareholders meeting today. Clubs agreed to prioritise the swift development and implementation of a new league-wide financial system. This will provide certainty for clubs in relation to their future financial plans and ensure the Premier League is able to retain its existing world-leading investment to all levels of the game. Basically, they know that if they had another window like they've just had in January where no one could spend a penny, then the big players might start moving abroad, less eyes on the Premier League. The big managers like Klopp is this summer might think, oh, we know it is. I fancy a bit of Real Madrid now, to be fair. Like.
Yeah.
Fancy a bit in the Spanish League. Germany are going mad. They're signing Eric Dyer for money. Do you know what I mean? They're not mad over there. So
for money.
They're thinking, if the Premier League can't compete, they're going to have to change the rules so they can't continue to attract the biggest and best players. That's the main reason for this so far.
Yeah.
So the Premier League also reconfirmed their commitment to securing a sustainably funded agreement with the EFL, subject to the new financial system being formally approved by clubs. The league and clubs reaffirmed their ongoing and long-standing commitment to the wider game, which includes 1.6 billion distributed to all levels of football across the current 3-year cycle. So with the women's game, football league, all of that. So let's just ring through some of the rest of it because a lot of it is to do with the EFL clubs and stuff. So would potential new rules only benefit Premier League's big clubs? This is what chief reporter from Sky, Kava, had to say about it. The financial rules can be changed because the clubs are unhappy with them. Premier League clubs don't want to give more money away to EFL clubs when they don't know what their own situation is going to be. They need to replace PSO, the new financial regulation system, self-interest for the Premier League clubs. They feel PSO, as they exist at the moment, are not fit for purpose, which we've talked about on the pod before, haven't we? We've said, it's dated, it's not working, it's not... Inflation's happened, nothing's changed when it should have.
Like 20 years.
Exactly, 20 years, and it's still the same 105 mil over 3 years. Crazy. So what else is he saying? Because he is waffling quite a bit, Carver.
Yeah, it's a big article.
Big old waffle article. How the new proposal would work, which is closely linked to UEFA's rules. Premier League clubs only spend up to a maximum of 85% of your revenue on transfers and wages. That sounds like it could be fairer because at the moment we've got a system where you can't lose more than 105 million over a 3-year period. Only allowed to spend a limit of 85% of your revenue on players and wages if your revenue is 700 million. You'll be able to spend 595 million on players and wages. So that's where we can get our revenue up to 700 million. Can Adidas just pay with 700 million? Or someone else?
Literally.
But if your revenue is only 100 million, you'd only be allowed to spend 85 million on players and wages. So that right there is the issue. So say
that is just as corrupt as the previous rule.
There you go. There's the big six only winner because Manchester United, one of the biggest teams in the world, they're bringing in 500-600 million a year. They can pretty much spend 400 million on players. Newcastle are even worse off, like an Everton, for example, or a team that comes up, or a Bournemouth. Right? Their revenue is probably around 100 million, 200 million.
Probably.
So how is anybody ever going to catch these big teams?
Yeah.
You're never ever going to be able to compete with the big boys when they can spend 500 million because the revenue is higher, but the smaller teams can only spend 80 million, 100 million, 120 million. How are you ever going to catch them up? How are you ever going to break into that top four?
Yeah, I know.
And that's where Newcastle are at the minute. They're trying to break through, but you've got to think, if our revenue was, 250 million, I think it was last year? So we could only spend, 180, 200, something like that. So again, that's completely different to where your Chelsea's and your Arsenal's, they're making 500 million plus.
Yeah, easy.
So they can spend double, triple what Newcastle can, and they're already above it. So how are we ever going to catch them up?
Yeah, for teams like Man United and Liverpool, who's been one of the leading teams worldwide for decades, back the 70s, 80s, massive worldwide interest in Asia. Man United's huge in Asia, Australia, America, all over the world because they've been doing it for longer at a higher level. So they're more like a franchise. They're just this big brand that you'll see, Drake will wear a Man United top or something in a video or something like that. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't even know who Man United are. He doesn't know who fucking Rasmus Højlund is. You know what I mean? But that's it. It's just a brand to them. It's like wearing a Yankees hat.
Aye.
They're that big. That's what that is. So they're going to spend more.
Basketball jerseys.
Exactly. Has anyone watched I had a Yankees hat when I was younger. I'm sure most people probably did because it's a big popular brand. Has anyone watched the Yankees game? It's the same fucking thing. Like,
Aye.
they're just these big, massive global brand franchises. Like, no one gives a fuck. Like,
No.
but that's how they make money. Like, people will see them. Like, if someone wears like a Man United top in a music video, or like if it's fucking Beyonce or something like that. But like the Asian market's massive, and Man United's always had a massive Asian market. Like Tottenham, like it's kind of smart, kind of what people have done. Like Man United had Park Ji-sung, then moved on to Shinji Kagawa. South Korea with Tottenham and Heung-min Son.
Very clever doing that.
It is smart, but obviously they're getting good players, not just let's just go and sign an Asian kid.
Aye.
Like you're getting like the best players. Obviously, Son was massive. Park was big when he came to Man United. Kagawa was decent. But it's more than that. Like they already know the fan base is there, so they're just diving into it more, and it is smart. But like I say, like the littler teams like a Bournemouth. Small stadium, small fan base. Like, how the fuck are they ever going to compete with that? Like, it's like a Luton or anyone trying to come up. Like, it's just never going to happen. Like, it just makes things worse. Like, when you read it out loud, like when you see it written down, you're just thinking, like, how's that helping anybody but the big teams? It's literally feeding the rich.
Aye.
Yeah, it's
Rich get ruined, the poor and get a fucking thing.
Yeah, literally stealing from the poor and giving to the rich. Like, that's all it is. And I don't know what you said about like the Football League teams, but this is why they're feeling like your Berries and like your Boltons and your teams down there that's really, really struggling financially. How's this going to help them?
Aye.
Like this whole thing was meant to. I heard something that Premier League teams were meant to sort of give a percentage or something to help towards like the Football League. Like everyone should be doing that bit. Like seeing teams like go out of business, like a Bury. Like it's sad that man. Teams with like hundreds of years worth of history. But that's sorry because Man City's going to win the league for the next 15 years.
Aye, we'll just keep it the way it is.
Like fucking hell, like it's mad, man. The rules are just absolutely tapped. Like
Because you mentioned teams coming up now, like Leicester are apparently going to get a points deduction when they get promoted.
Congratulations, yeah, you're promoted, but you're already relegated.
Congratulations, but
Didn't even bother.
you're starting the season on minus 10 points. Good luck.
Cracking. Massive incentive that is.
Not like a yo-yo team, is it? Because
kind of way to get promoted.
look at
minus 10
now,
points.
obviously the promoted teams are right in the bottom three mix, especially Sheffield United and Burnley. They're gone. They're going to go back down, and they'll probably come back up. They always do.
Yeah.
And even now, the teams that went down last year, Leicester and Leeds, look, they're going to come straight back up. So the Premier League's just, where City are on course, obviously, it's a three-horse title race at the minute, but there's no stopping them from winning double trebles, back-to-back trebles, which is insane.
Absolutely not. It literally is just feeding to the rich. Like, this is why, like, I thought the rules were going to change to help teams be able to spend better, like not better maybe for like your Man Cities, but there should be like caps, like American rules, like the NFL, the NBA, baseball. Like there's salary caps. And I know European teams aren't going to want to do that because it will limit spending, and they'll think that it won't bring as much revenue, so it'll never ever happen. But that's the only way that's going to be fair. Or even if you didn't sort of like a in the way of like a draft, like your lesser teams get more sort of revenue because they need it. Like that would make sense. Like Man City finished top, so what do you get? Oh, he has £1 billion.
Aye.
If you finish 17th,
Yes, Holland.
You scrape survival, or you get like 70 million to spend at best, and you're lucky to get that. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like there's just absolutely no incentives. Like in like American sports, like you finish worst, you get the first pick in the draft, and at least there's salary caps, so everyone's got the same opportunities. In European football, just no one's got an opportunity. Like it's literally just you're just gonna have the Man Cities and your Liverpools just dominate until I'm dead.
Yeah,
until I'm rotten in the ground.
But that's it, because like I said earlier, like it would take, if you possibly could, which you doesn't know you can, to catch up it's going to take us 10, 20 years easily. And by that time, they're going to continue spending their money.
Yeah.
So just keep adding on where it is. Like, it's
But
a never-ending cycle of not being able to...
Newcastle's
match
the
them.
prime example of how difficult it's going to be, because we're technically the richest team in the world,
Yeah.
but we can't even spend our own money. Like, so if anyone else, like take a Bournemouth or a Luton, say some other absolute filthy rich person comes along, some other Arab billionaire with unlimited funds, comes and spends it. Like, everyone's going to be buzzing. There's going to be parties like what we had at the Subway Baba Europe and you get in, if you're even taking over, then, well, but you can't spend it.
No.
Oh,
Standing out there.
class that.
No.
Yeah.
Look at last night.
Just 10 million to spend it. Enjoy it.
Last night we finished the game with Murphy, Almiron, Longstaff started, played the full 90.
Yeah.
Nebraska's in goal.
You got Kraft
It's the same team as what we had fucking 6 years ago.
Literally. Now it's fucking changed.
Now
We're
it's changed.
still fucking 10th in the league. Like
10th in the league, huh? I thought last night was fucking 2016, man. I warned everyone about code. Oh, my days. But to wrap up the stuff on this article here, obviously we know Premier League teams can make a loss no greater than 105 million across 3 seasons. Clubs can only lose 15 million of their own money across those 3 years. So that's no more than 50 million extra on outgoings like transfer fees, wages, and paying off former managers compared to their income from TV payments, season tickets, selling players, and so on. The other 90 million of any 105 million must be guaranteed by their owners, buying up shares known as secure funding. Essentially means bankrolling the club. So
that's the good news for the day.
There's the good news for today. I think
Enjoy yourselves.
basically, unless you're a fan that's already in the top 4, then you're never going to get in the top 4.
Yeah.
So goodbye Champions League this season. Goodbye it lasted. Because bloody hell, man, it's going to be. We would literally need to get anywhere near the revenue that they make. We need to get this new stadium, 100,000 seater, fill it every week, spend a fortune on pies and brown ale.
The size of Newcastle.
Buy every Adidas kit that comes out and get every possible extra merchandise and everything else, man.
Just franchising. That's the only really way to do it. Just sell, try and sell to America. Get like a documentary.
Aye.
I know I've had one, but like more of like a series, like a Welcome to Wrexham documentary or something like that to bring in a bigger audience. You just need to buy fans. That's essentially it. You need to buy fans. And people are worried. People are already kicking off that because it's harder to get tickets.
Aye.
This whole balloting system's an absolute fucking shit show. It's hard. It's hard to get tickets, but and we are going to develop new fans. Everyone experiences it. Like Man City, 20 years ago, who gave a shit about Man City?
No.
People only thought there was one team. In America, you go to any state in America, which Premier League teams do you know? There's Manchester United and Liverpool. Or do you know Man City? I actually seen that a while ago. They're doing a derby, and people thought it was a joke. People thought they were getting wound up. Nah, that's not such thing as Man City, man. People just didn't know about them.
That's the thing when Tevez thought he was signing the whole rumor that Tevez thought he was signing for Man United originally. It was Tevez or someone. Some player was I didn't. No, Rubinho. Rubinho won it because obviously Tevez did play for both Manchester clubs, but Rubinho was rocking up in blue shirts.
Where's Fergie?
Where's Fergie? Where's my red kit, man? But so it's mad and where they are now. But hopefully when Pep leaves, they'll have a bit of a fall off, surely. But with all that money and all the players,
I say, how long is it going to take Newcastle to get there? Because it was easier for them because they could afford a Rubinho and whoever it was your Tevez's and David Silva's, Aguero's companies. We can't spend the money that they did. Chelsea when they had their takeover as well. It was easier for them. But still took Man City 3 years or something to really kind of get to where they wanted to be. We're only 2.5 years into our takeover. But the limits on what you can spend now is just absolutely mental. And people think we're buying the league. People think we got. They think we got top 4 last season because of the money. You fucking joking?
What money?
I know. Fucking Longstaff was my best player. How it's gonna take us so much longer, and that's why I think fans need to be a little bit more accepting of where we are now and the journey that we're on. Because I know, we'll touch on briefly if we can the Chelsea game and the being 10th in the league. I know people aren't happy and Eddie Howe getting sacked and stuff. People need to slam the fucking brakes on and realize that we're still so early in this journey, and last year was a massive overachievement. We just need to be patient because it's going to take probably longer than we expected. I think that when the takeover happened, they talked about a 5-year plan, potentially even a 10-year plan, but now 5 years is the minimum. 10 years is more realistic to at least maintain top 4. We finished 4th last season. Everyone wanted to do that again this season. It was never going to happen, by the way. We're fucking never going to finish in the top 4 this year.
No, never.
Absolutely bet me house on that.
I said 7th, me.
Yeah, but to maintain a top 4 position, be guaranteed Champions League football year in, year out, get to quarter final sort of level of the Champions League, win an FA Cup or 2, be favourites. To get to that level, it's going to take 10 years, at least.
Yeah, at least.
And I say for a team as rich as Newcastle, if it was anybody else, if it was the Evertons, Forests, Lutons, Bournemouths, how fucking long would it take them to push for the top 4 now, man? It's insane.
It is because it's so annoying when you see when the takeover happened, we're all outside St. James's Park celebrating Garman Khan's anniversary and all that takeover has happened. And it was obviously to get rid of Mike Ashley. We're happy about that. But when you see all that money, everyone's because everyone was saying, "Oh, the richest club in the world, oh, Mbappe's coming," and all that. We knew that wasn't going to be the case. But you think we'd at least be able to sign someone in fucking January. We couldn't. This January
was like fucking being fucking
couldn't get a loan signed.
Couldn't get Chowdhury on loan.
Chowdhury on loan. We couldn't get Phillips on loan this January. Thankfully, we've been awful since we'll dodge a bullet.
Yeah, I'm kind of pleased with that.
Dodge a bullet there. But can't spend a penny as it is, and these new rules don't look like they're really going to happen to help us too much either.
No,
not yet. Anyways,
not us, not anybody, unless City, United, Liverpool.
Yeah. Right then, I love that positivity. Here's some more good news. Anthony Gordon. So it's all over Twitter at the minute. We're not going to say that it's definitely happening because
it's not been confirmed.
It's not been confirmed by any journalists or any
rumors.
Media outlets. It's just these in the news that are saying that Gordon's going to be out for 6 to 7 months. Which, I mean, wouldn't surprise us in the slightest, to be honest.
No.
It just sums up our season.
It's our luck. It's England's luck, because that would obviously rule him out for the Euros.
Oh, bad luck for Gordon, man.
Devastating for him, absolutely. But, yeah, for Newcastle. We talked about England last week. Like, do you want your team... Like, obviously, it's good for them. Like, they're your guys, they're your players, and you want them to have the best careers and just enjoy themselves as much as possible. And it's everyone's dream to play for your country. But from a selfish point of view, you don't want them to go, but you also don't want them to get 6-7 month injuries. It's going to rule them out for the rest of our season, the entire Euros, and potentially even the start of next season. Like, that is not what you want to happen. So, and especially when it's been one of our best players, one of the most consistent players of the season as well. So probably is the best player of the season, most consistent at least anyway. So if that is true, even if it's half of that, even if you're talking 3 months, that's that's the rest of the season, pretty much. There's only 2-3 months left. So, even half of that is the rest of the season, which is devastating for us, devastating for him. So I hope it's bullshit. That 6-7 month time frame, that's crippling that. But hopefully it's not even a touch of that. 6 weeks maybe. Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like if Man City this weekend, couldn't be hard enough. You lose your player of the season. Going there, no Gordon. Great.
And the thing is, if Isak gets a knock, then we've got absolutely no one, because Gordon's our third choice striker, isn't he? So without Wilson, without Isak, without Gordon,
great.
Playing for Jacob Mayfield's number 9.
Yeah, well,
potentially
so. So what is it, like 6-7 months? That's got to be ligaments.
Knee ligament, apparently. Thanks to the physio, that snapped his knee in half. You see that?
No, not really.
When he was lying down, Gordon, when he was in agony, and he had his knee out, and the physio's like, all right, lie back, and he pulled his knee up. And
can you feel that?
Like, oh, what are you doing? That just added another 3 months on the injury.
And cheers, physio.
He's already out for 2
tomorrow.
He should be sacked now. Caught live in the flesh, 4K on Sky Sports main event. You know what I mean? Monday Night Football, snapping Gordon's knee. My God, that sums up our physio department this season now.
How long have you been about
Bonds
for?
Doesn't
2 months, 3 months, 4 months.
Bonds doesn't need surgery. Mint, he's injured again. Botman doesn't need surgery. Been absolutely wank since he's came back from injury, which I'll talk about soon. But on Anthony Gordon, right? This just sums up how chaotic and truly comedic this season's been, when he does an interview 2 days ago saying, "Now the best thing about me, medical team never says. I'm never injured. I'm the best player going. I'm fit as a fiddle. I'm always available. I pride myself on the medical team never even knowing who I am.
Didn't even know who I am, man.
2 days later, breaks his knee."
That's why you just should stay quiet.
Don't put that out in the universe, Anthony.
Don't jinx things.
No, jinxed it. Absolutely jinxed it. But you got to feel sorry for him. Gareth Southgate was there watching.
Yeah, not that it would have made a slight bit of difference, but The
rumours are that he was going to pick him for Thursday, like.
Well, you'd like to think so, but it's just friendlies this surrounding us. Like,
Brazil and Belgium.
Not that important, but yeah, even so, it's just a taster. Like, if you could get a spot, like prove himself on the England team, pretty much get to know Gareth Southgate, because that's how you get into the team. You've basically got to suck him off. Hey, that's how you get. That's how you get in the England team. Why do you think Harry Maguire's still there? Just saying, Harry. Just saying.
Those are Keg's allegations and not mine or the Magpie channels. When Harry Maguire's lawyers.
His views on my own. But you know what I mean? Like, so it would be nice for him to get a taste of the England scene, just to show Gareth Southgate exactly what he can do for the Euros, just to stake his claim a little bit further. Not that it really he should have. Like, he probably should be on the plane anyway, but that's the kind of way that Gareth Southgate and the England team works at the minute. So, but yeah, big shame for him, for England, for Newcastle, everyone involved. But the medical guy.
Exactly, because like we say, England devastating for him. He deserves the call up. But just on Newcastle's part, I mentioned Man City on Saturday. That's made that impossible task that little bit more Mission Impossible too. And then for the rest of the season, we're still vying for a European place. We do still play a lot of teams in and around us. 7th, maybe 6th at a push is still viable. But without Anthony Gordon, your star player, the one that's carried us a lot this season, isn't he? He's had, 10, 11 goals. He's had double figures for contributions as well. Assists are right up there. So he's going to be a huge miss for us. Never mind the bloody 3 lines in Germany this year.
Yeah.
And he said in that interview as well, he's like, your girlfriend wants to go on holiday. I've told her Germany's nice this time of year. Because he was banging on trying to get that call for England, and he'll be feeling really down at the minute. Like, I need to see BDs, I need to brew pints. Calm that, get that anxiety and depression scene to Anthony. HSL doing Tuesday nights live at 7 with Anthony Gordon next week.
You got no better day, Anthony.
It's an international break. Could have been with Southgate, be with us instead. Much better.
Got no better day. Might as well get doing.
But I really obviously hope that it's not 6-7 months, because that would screw us up going into the summer and then even into next season. Because if it's March now, it's over 6-7 months. Jesus Christ, that'll be about like September, October. Fucking Tonali will be back before you.
Get us some bets on while you're injured. So.
Got England when the Euros are. Well then, that's bad news. Good. We'll wait for official announcements though before speculating.
Have we got any good news?
Have we got any good news? No.
Okay. Because it's a Newcastle podcast.
Yeah.
Of course there's need for good news.
It is like the good old days now, isn't
it? It is, Steve Bruce this Saturday.
Aye, Brucey. Actually, we'll have potential transfer links, but again, that's just speculation, but it's positive, I guess.
Yeah, we've got the money to spend it.
Aye, we've got PSR is going to stop that. So, we've talked on Gordon, and this is negative, but it's the truth. What the hell has happened to Sven Botman, or as I called him last night, Sven Boomsong?
I didn't put that in the air, man. I didn't need that.
I had to. He was absolutely double stinking. And he has been for months, though.
Yeah.
Months on end now. That clearance for the first goal was diabolical. His general play looked so slow, clumsy. You can see he's shot of confidence, but to be fair, the physio department again, has he been rushed back? Should he have had that operation?
Possibly.
Because he looks like he's playing at about 25% for me. He still looks like he's carrying that injury. That's the excuse I'm giving him, because I loved him before this injury.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it has been a case of rushing him back, and that's why this team still has so much work to do, because we've just got any depth. Like, if Isaac goes out, then we're absolutely knackered, because Wilson could potentially be out for the season. And we've mentioned how many times we need another striker. But even in his absence, to be fair, Lascelles stepped up. Like, Lascelles was doing all right.
I would rather play Lascelles at the minute.
Lascelles and Shaw formed they had a partnership back in the Brucey days, and that's why this is absolutely dreadful. But we're back in the fucking Brucey days, and that's basically just what it is. But maybe we should have just kept that for a little while. But I think because he is when he's on form, like we've seen prior to his injury, he's a top actor. He's still 23 years old. He's still very young. Everyone in the Premier League rates him. Like, outside of Newcastle, other fans of the league know that last season he was one of the top performers at centre back in the position. I've seen at the end of the season a lot of football YouTubers were putting him in their teams of the season.
Rightfully so.
And absolutely deserves it. So we just aren't seeing Botman. Like I say, it's fucking Boomsong. It's Bramble right now. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe we did force him back because he is that guy. When someone's that good, you want them on the field. And as harsh as that is on Lascelles, because he didn't really put a foot wrong, that's just sort of the nature of the game, unfortunately. You want your best players on immediately, even if that means they're not fully fit, which is a big crime. And whoever's decision that was, Eddie Howe or ownership or anyone else, it's obviously that's just speculation as well. Maybe he was fully fit. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe we just don't know about it. But if he's not fully fit and someone's give it the go ahead to be like, right, fucking get him in, bad crack. Really,
that's
really
what happened with me. If you remember, he dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
Harvey Barnes with a bad toe and thought, hey, he'll be out for a couple weeks. Turned into a couple months. Turned into a few months. Yeah. Comes back for a game. Now he's got a bad hamstring.
I feel like Isaac was like that when he came back, because he went through 3 or 4 games of he's back in form now, but when he came back from his injury, I think because Wilson went out, but had to. There wasn't anyone else.
No.
So I think he went through maybe 4 or 5 games of not really being his best self. That's just probably because he wasn't fit, because there wasn't anyone else.
No, exactly. And there was rumours not so long ago that Isaac might have to go under the knife or somewhere. to solve this issue that's obviously reoccurring.
Yeah, most likely. I probably have to do it in the summer. Are Sweden in the Euros?
No, they're not.
No,
So that could allow them to do it.
Yeah. Anyone who's not going, I just get yourselves another knife. No one's going on holiday this year.
No one's
going on the Euros. No one's going on holiday. Looking Joe Willock, you're not getting back to New York to play chess. No. Right? Everyone's just getting a fucking operation free on the club.
Operation Ice Patch. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking Grey's Anatomy FC.
With Botman, then, what's the solution? Would you take him out the firing line? Because, options are bring back in Jamal Lascelles, like we've just said.
Yeah.
You could potentially bring Dan Burn in from left back to centre back and then put Kraft there, or when Trippier comes back, swap him and Tino on the flanks, or obviously Matty Target.
Yeah,
back now as well. He's on the bench, so
it's a good sign.
Can we start playing left backs instead of centre backs and drop the centre back that's on the night every week?
I don't know. We'll have a look in the comments what your best case scenario would be, but let's say Botman is sort of like the franchise centre back. He's a big sexy centre back that you want playing. So whether it's up to me, I'm not Eddie Howe, I'm not the coach, so it's up to them. For our opinion, and like I say, I want to say what everyone else has to say about us. Do you take him out? In case he is like Isaac, Isaac had 4 or 5 games where he wasn't his best because he was rushed back, but now he's banging them in. He's back in form. So do you wait for him to get that confidence and just kind of stick with it, or do you? Because it might be a confidence knock for him just to pull him out and say, "You're doing shit." So we're going to put Lascelles in. You're getting dropped because you're fucking wank. So do you put Lascelles in? I don't know. Dan Burn back in with Target or Tino.
Kraft and Dorman at the back.
That is proper Steve Bruce and Ashley in it. Back 4, Kraft, Lascelles, Shaw, and Dummett.
Run it back.
Oh my days.
I'm on it.
That's bad nostalgia. That's a fucking nightmare. That's the kind of flashbacks that you don't want to be
having. Sleep tonight.
Waking up in a cold sweat. Go to left back. Oh man.
I tell you what, I was there. Old Trafford in the cup. Quality.
Centre back though.
Centre back eye.
Yeah, it wasn't left back.
Centre back eye. Kraft and Dublin at the back, man. Shit. Anyways, Matty, good to see you getting Tiger King on the podcast.
I like it.
Good stuff.
I thought you couldn't see us. I'm invisible.
I know. John Cena. Botman hasn't looked right since the medical team missed his ACL injury before it came to a head. Very true.
Tiger King. Yeah.
The other player that did play well in defence last night, though, was Tino Livramento.
Oh, that's mad, that.
He's a shining light. Funny that we've been asking for him to start for the past 9 months.
He's probably been my best defender all season, but can't get a game.
Again, that's why people are labelling criticism at Eddie Howe's door, though.
Well,
he's the one that picks him, or doesn't.
I know, it is quite difficult because I know, I don't think it's the same. I think the ownership has more trust in Eddie Howe than to do this. But I know, again, sort of American franchises, in the NFL, some owners can have too much control and sort of tell them, look, we've spent money on this. And I think they do. I think owners, if they spend big bucks, if you buy £100 million player, look, he's fucking playing. We've spent money on it. You better pick him. And I think Rafa went through that. I think Steve Bruce went through that.
Joe Linton.
Joe Linton's a prime example. Yeah, club record fee, banged him up front. Everyone knew he wasn't a striker, but had to play him anyway because he was that money. And Mike Ashley probably had that. Lee Charnley spent £40 million on him. You think you're not going to play him? Think again, Jackie. So yeah, maybe you said that is sort of the case. I forgot where we're going there. What am I talking about?
I forgot what we're talking about now. Why Tino's not getting picked, basically.
Pressure
on him, picking him.
Yeah, so
getting picked because he was just a Joe Linton. £40 million.
Well, it was a lot of money, but obviously you can't play right back because it's Trippier's gig. Even though he went through a spell of bad form, he's not going to play right back. Left back isn't his primarily position, so maybe I think it would talk about Eddie Howe as a loyalist, the loyalism for Dan Burn because he done so well last season. I think he still thinks that's his best 4, the same 4 from last season, even though Dan Burn for me just isn't a left back whatsoever. Decent cover, I suppose, if you have a last-ditch effort.
That's why I'm saying he could slot in instead of Botman, get him out the firing line, put Burn at centre-back, someone else at left-back, Matty Target come in for City, something like that. Because Dan Burn's going to get absolutely annihilated.
You can't have Dan Burn. Like Tino has to start.
I
know he will. And he'll start at right back. But even if, like, argument's sake, Trippier was available, would Tino start at left back? I still doubt that he would. Like,
pisses me off, man.
Yeah, like I just don't know. Like, and I get what people are saying about Eddie Howe. Like, if it is his choice and it's not coming from the top, then I don't know, man. Like, it's just a little bit too suspect for me. It's just bad choices. Whoever's decision it is, someone's absolutely fumbling the bag here.
Oh, big time. Because even Trippier himself said in an interview this week, he was like, Tino's going to take my place at right back. Tino will probably take my place at England.
In the long term,
he's
absolutely.
the best right back. So he should be coming in now, though, and just I've seen him at PSG away live at left back. Unreal. And that's against PSG.
Yeah.
You can't play games against fucking West Ham.
I think for cup games especially, like, that's where rotation needs to be, because Trippier's 34 now?
Aye, 34.
And I know we're probably talking about next season where we know how good Trippier is, but even from the beginning of this season, from cup games, League Cup, FA Cup, whoever the opposition, whether it's Man City or Man United like we had, or if it was like lower league, League One, League Two, just get Trippier out. Just send him on holiday or something. Just give him a break. Like, he doesn't need to be there.
No.
Like that's where like youngins, like, even for example next season Harrison Ashby comes back off loan. Like, that's why he was brought in, because he's young and he's a potential future star. And I know that's why Trippier was brought in. Livermore was brought in because potentially Harrison Ashby isn't maybe is what we thought he was when we signed him. But for argument's sake, that's what we should be doing. Like, send Trippier fucking nowhere near the ground. Like, it was Rochdale away. Why is Kieran Trippier playing? Like, start Harrison Ashby, bring Tino in. Like, they're the younguns, they're the future. Like, you don't need a 34-year-old playing against fucking Rochdale. Like, that's what we need to be doing from here on in. And like Yakuba Minta, when he comes back next year, like, they're the games for him. That's where he needs to be starting and staking a claim in the starting 11.
Aye.
But like, it always has been sort of like trying just to play the best team, just to try and go on the best cup run possible. And I get it, because we won a cup run. I'm not slating like going all out for a cup run, but just Kieran Trippier's 34 years old. Like, he needs just to sort of start to simmer down a little bit and start giving like the likes of Tino, who's 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he needs more minutes. Like, he needs more experience.
He does. I think it's criminal that he doesn't get a game. I think last night again you saw what he can bring. He was literally the shining light for me. Like, he was getting forward, he was causing them problems. He was.
How many games has he not been though?
I think more
often than not, like when he first started, because I know he came off a big injury. Like, he spent nearly all of last season out from a big was it ACL with Southampton?
I think one.
But I like them games. Like, I think it was who was first? Was it City or United?
What's that?
In the cup?
City.
Like, that was his first start, wasn't it? And like, nobody really knew what to expect. Like, he's a young'un, it's his first start. Like, I think he had a couple of sub appearances where he looked all right, but especially with Kraft and Dummett at the back, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, bad forwards left." But both games, City and United, he was absolutely mint. And then he continued that left back. PSG, every other game that he played, every time he started, he's just been absolutely immense. And I don't know how many games he's started that he hasn't impressed.
No.
Right or left, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it's mad that is one thing I will criticize Eddie Howe on is the loyalty to Burn. And I know that defence did do extremely well last season, got with top 4.
Yeah.
You got to move with the times, man.
Move with the times.
And these are the things that are happening where they're saying, he doesn't adapt the teams, doesn't adapt to different situations, scenarios, in-game, beforehand.
Yeah.
And when you can see the whole crowd's fucking chanting for Tino, we all love him, we all know how good he is. And then he kind of get in. It is a bit bonkers. And I'm an Eddie Howe fan. I stick up for him, but that is one of them where I look at it and think, I can't stick up for that. Like, I can't stick up for 7 foot tall, 30-odd-year-old Dan Burn playing ahead of one of the best young fullbacks in the
outside
league.
Of the Tino to Burn argument, I will say that like in-game, like starting 11s and in-game changes, I think sometimes his hands are still a little bit tired because, like we say, players aren't fit. We've had so many injuries this season that we know for a fine fact, like Isaac and Botman are playing like 70% max fitness.
Aye.
Then what are the people on the bench? If they're starting, what are the people on the bench like? Most of the season, we've had kids and 3 goalkeepers. We've had knee options. But those that are there, like Murphy with his dislocated shoulder, no striker. Like the options have been limited for him. And I know now it's looking better, but Target's come back for the first time this season. When did he get injured? Was it pre-season or early in the season? Like he's been out for months.
That long we've seen
so
Target,
long. Anderson's been out for donkeys with a broken back.
Aye.
like the options still aren't really there. Like yes, the bench looks prettier on paper, but how fit are these players? Like so. How is he going to make changes when he's still got no changes to make? The bench looks better than what it did in November, December time. Like I said, when we were starting, when we were benching 3 goalkeepers and Ben Parkinson and Amad Diallo, like, but still, like, how better off are we? Like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing where you think, oh, well, maybe Chuck Target on 20 minutes, or you Lewis Halls, or this, that, but
Hall wasn't even on the bench last night.
No, ineligible against Chelsea.
Oh yes, of course he was.
Good play against Man City though.
Yeah.
At least on the bench, probably not. We'll touch on that game soon. But there's a lot of talk about Eddie Howe. We've reached on it a little bit there. Last night on my live match reaction, watch it back, people, after this if you haven't seen it already. Not just me. I was quite calm compared to the comment section. Everyone was going mental, and a lot of them were Eddie Howe out or Eddie Howe lost the plot and doesn't know what he's doing type of thing. And I did lead with them having a howler because I think he did completely mess up the tactics and the game plan last night. But reports today came out from the Telegraph saying that no matter where Newcastle United finish, whether that's a European place or not, this season he will be safe and he will be in the dugout for the start of next season. So are you backing that decision? Or
I do. For now, I'm still 100% that idea. The first game of next season, Eddie Howe will be the manager.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely 100% behind it. But I get people that are frustrated by it. But as I said before, like people still just need to slam them brakes on and calm down because, like I say, last season was a massive overachievement. We haven't got the money to spend. We didn't spend as much in January as we would have liked to have in the summer. We had to sell some Maximin to be able to afford Barnes. We couldn't spend in January. And we've had so many injuries. We couldn't really account for what's happened this season. Like if we hadn't had as many injuries, half the injuries that we've had, because we've had so many, like we could be in a better position. But yeah, for me, I think, and again, back to FFP and brands, global brands and franchises, while Chelsea aren't in the greatest league position, and they weren't last season either, they're still a massive, massive club with a shit ton of money, massive, expensive players, massive wages. Yeah, they haven't been performing very well as a unit. Like as a unit, they've been pretty shit for 2 years consistently, but they are a good team, and you can't underestimate them, especially away where, what's our record? When did the last win there?
1 win in 29. Haven't won there since 2011-12. Patrick CC won a strike.
29 games.
I only won once in the Premier League era at Stamford Bridge.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that league position isn't great, but you can never underestimate Chelsea. You can't look at them, they're 11th, 12th, and we're 8th, 9th. Someday we'll beat them. That's not the way football works. That's like the FA Cup. Like, you can be a Premier League team and get beat off a League Two team. Like, football doesn't work like that. Like, we got beat by a single goal. I know the performance wasn't great. It probably felt worse than it was, but we lost by a single goal away to Chelsea. Mad.
But
I know the performance. I know the performance, and it's modern Chelsea, and it's the performance, and that's what makes sense. But you can't fire Eddie Howe for that. Like I say, it's a long-term plan, and like I say, the restraints, injuries, financial fair play, a lot of things gone against Eddie Howe this season. And I know some of his decisions haven't been great. His in-game management hasn't been great. His subs haven't been great. But I feel like there's reasons for that, and. But on a journey like this, like I say, it's a 5-year plan.
Enjoy the ride.
Minimum. 5-year plan minimum. He's been here 2 years. That long? He's been here 2 years,
Two and a bit now.
Two and a little bit, yeah. I think we've just got to be patient, because if you sack a manager, you can go back to square one. We've already lost Dan Ashworth. Dan Ashworth was a part of our long-term plan.
Yeah.
And so is Eddie Howe. If you sack Eddie Howe and we haven't got a director of football, we're back to square one. So I think you just got to be patient, and like the club and finances, FFP needs to be sorted out. We need better players. We need to start moving on from like your Dubravkas, your Crafts, your Dummets, whoever else you want to throw in there. All of them. Yeah, we've got a long way to go, and this isn't Eddie Howe's fault. As bad as performances may have been, as bad as results may have been, decisions may have been. Like, nah, I think you got to ride it out. Let's say if he's here next season, it's a long-term plan. You can't just be sacking managers right, left, and centre like Chelsea do. Look at where Chelsea are. Tottenham and Chelsea didn't give managers fucking time to change a light bulb. Like light bulbs last longer in the fucking dressing rooms than they do with their managers. Like, I think you just got to give them time and wait and see. And it comes from the top down, in my opinion. I think if you want to blame anyone, blame the owners. Again, I'm not blaming them, like, because it's the financial side of things, but I'm just pointing a finger at Eddie Howe and solely blaming him and saying that he should be sacked today after the Chelsea loss. Haven't gone. It's a disgrace if he's there first game of next season. Nah, I'm not having that. Like, I think that's a little shit.
No, and I do blame. I think Eddie Howe does take a lot of blame from me for last night's performance, because I think he did get it completely wrong. There's been many teams, Wolves, who we've just beat last week, with that game plan. If we had took that into last night's game, I think we'll win. Because Wolves went to Stamford Bridge last month, won 4-2, did the same thing. Sat there, you have the ball, the crowd gets annoyed at Stamford Bridge, start shouting Pochettino out, start singing Jose Mourinho's name, you hit them on the counter, you score 3-4 goals.
Yeah,
I think
we nearly done that in the cup. Like, we were shit against them in the cup, but we nearly won 1-0.
Exactly. Yeah. But there is a thing going around with Jose Mourinho's links to Newcastle. He was caught chatting to Yasser Al-Ramian, our chairman over in Saudi Arabia. So that got speculation going. But I'm fully behind what the Telegraph are reporting, and I just think it's true. Where honestly, I don't think no matter what happens this season, where we get beat on Saturday, very likely we're out of the FA Cup.
Oh yeah.
Unlucky again. We did the live draw here. Shambles. You think we could be sitting here, and you said earlier, is there anything positive? Anything to be positive about tonight? We could have been like, we could fucking get to Wembley. Win Saturday, we'll be at Wembley.
Nah, but we're not.
But we're not because of the unlucky cut through. What
no.
I'm saying is, if we had got anybody else but Man City, we would have had a bit of positivity tonight, thinking, well, last night we shit against Chelsea, but at least we got Saturday. At least we've got Saturday at home to whoever but Man City.
If it was Chelsea, if it was Tottenham, if it was anybody else, would be
even
like,
Liverpool with all the kids playing
and
and injuries and that,
we'll have them.
They've got enough. They've got Premier League going for. You wouldn't rule out against Liverpool, but Man City, it's hard to look at that and think, we're going to get
away, especially.
Away as well. Again, even if it was at home to Man City.
Yeah, solid draw.
In January, we gave them a good game or 2-1 up. Got beaten the last minute. So
3-3 last season.
3-3 last season. So, shit. Summer's up the season, did it? But, I think no matter what happens, getting knocked out the FA Cup, don't make Europe, finish 11th or 12th, I think we'll get nobody else in, and it will be Eddie Howe, and I think he deserves that.
I do as well, yeah, 100%. I believe that he does. From a sort of pipe dream, I've always wanted Jose Mourinho, and I know, like, the jobs that he's done has been a little bit suspect at some clubs. Like, he's been sacked twice from Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, Real Madrid, Roma. Like, everywhere he's gone, he's been sacked.
But he does win a trophy.
It doesn't look good, but he does win a trophy.
Space, we got to the final.
I think his style of football is boring as fuck. He's ultra defensive. He's like 11 men behind the ball. It's not pretty, but he wins things. And ultimately, that's what football's all about. You win things, you win games, you get top of the league, you win the FA Cup, Champions League. That's what we need. We need a cup. And the way that Jose Mourinho's even described himself as a little magpie because of his relationship with Sir Bobby Robson, like even when I knew it was never, ever going to happen, like when to replace like Steve Bruce, even in the Mike Ashley era,
Rafa, that would be good.
A small part of me would have was like, I want Jose Mourinho, I want him. But especially now that he's available, he's unattached. He hasn't got a club. If Eddie Howe was to be sacked tomorrow, I'd be like, get with fucking Jose Mourinho, man. I think that would be absolutely class. And I think he would take it now.
Straight away.
And I think he was rumoured to be getting it. I think maybe when we're looking to replace Rafa. Obviously, we're always going to go down the lines of a Steve Bruce.
Crappy English
Jose Mourinho.
Mourinho would never work with a Mike Ashley, man.
Nah, of course he wouldn't. And that's why. Like, I
need
think
a yes man.
I think at the time he might have been available and all. Like, So everyone was saying, "Oh, get Jose Mourinho." I fucking course.
I would love it just for the box office entertainment. I'm not saying I want any out.
No,
I'm saying like if he did, if the owner has someone,
hypothetically,
if those in Saudi are looking at that thinking, I don't care what happened last season. I don't care. We've had injuries. I'm looking at the league table and we're 10th or we finished 12th or whatever. Fucking not good enough for me. Like. And if Jose Mourinho's, he'd be sitting there having a beer with, well, probably not beer in that country, sitting there having a coffee with Jose in Saudi, and he's thinking, fancy this one, Jose? Yes, he's straight there. Do you know what I mean? Straight there. So he's saying, he is there outside. Sybil Robson's statue. There's the welcoming photo. There's the welcoming video. And how great the press releases would be, the conferences every week.
If something went drastically wrong with Eddie Howe and he did lose his job and Jose Mourinho was available, I would absolutely love that. But
he would win us a trophy.
Yeah, he would. Yeah,
100%. He could win anybody a trophy.
Yeah, he could.
He literally could.
Might be boring as fuck.
Oh, be awful.
We might be out of our mind for 38 games of the season, but
yeah, take this point though. And then 2 years down the line, we can start getting selfish and be like, just the FA Cup, Josie, but this football's wank. We're gonna get such and such in now. Brilliant, job done. Phase 3.
Yeah.
Do you know what
I mean? But no, I do trust in Eddie Howe, and I do think there's a long-term plan, and I think he does deserve his job for a longer term, at least this summer, at least.
I think people are forgetting far too quickly the miracles he's worked for me from relegation to top 4, the cup final.
Yeah.
Forgetting it very quickly. Another circumstance of Tonali.
We mentioned a couple of weeks ago about how mad it was that Leicester sacked Ranieri, like 5-6 months after winning them the Premier League.
Someone said that to me last night on the watch along, on the live match reaction, where I said, Eddie's got credit in the bank and all that, what he did last season. Someone said, doesn't matter what he did last season. Leicester sacked Ranieri after they won the league last season.
Yeah.
That's what would happen, though. That's when I could get it. Say, if we're here this time next year, seeing the same shit, then it's time to go.
No improvements.
Then it's time to go.
Like, hypothetically, we spend 200 million in the transfer window. Excuse me.
Oh, that sounds nice on Spotify.
Apologies. Sorry, Spotify listeners. Couldn't get it out. It's these beers. We spend mad money in the champion. To be fair, 200 million is not even that much in the modern market if you can spend it.
2 midfielders if Chelsea.
It literally is. So if you spend mad money and there's no injuries, no European football. If we finish 8th this season and we don't even get Conference League, if we spend 300 million and there's no injuries, no fitness issues, and we're still 8th to 10th, maybe even 12th in the league come November, December, January next season, then I can see that being a big problem.
Big problem for Eddie.
Right now, it's...
Right now, we've got a big overhaul coming in the summer, which we'll talk about more towards the time and throughout maybe the international break. What should happen in terms of ins and outs. Could be topics to touch on next week or two. Because that's what needs to happen. Listen, there's a big change coming to Newcastle this summer. Eddie Howe, you can oversee it. And then, like I said, if come Christmas, come February, March, we're lingering mid-table and we're out the cups, then that'll be the time when I'll be like, cheers, Eddie, but see you later.
But he'll always be held in high regard, though. Like he's always
saved him, man.
He's a Keegan Robson for me. I think you put him up there. I think he's one of the 3 best managers that Newcastle's ever had. Right. Maybe he's Hoy Rafa up there as well, just because of kind of what he's done for when such a dark time. Like he's probably one of the highlights of the Ashley era, and there wasn't many. No, that was it. But in terms of what he's done for bringing Champions League football back to St James's, getting with top 4. Cup final. Cup final. He's absolutely one of the top 3 managers that we've had in Premier League history. At least.
Brought me my best memories as a Newcastle fan.
Definitely. So, 100%.
I never thought, 5-6 years down the making of doing this, I'd be at the San Siro and that. You know what I mean?
That's at the beginning. People from the outside will be like, "Oh, it's the money." But you see what he done with Joe Linton, with Fabian Schär was wank under Steve Bruce. Who else? Everybody else. Almiron. We've seen the best out of Almiron. Like everyone's improved. Like Sean Longstaff. Like everyone's a much better player for playing with Eddie Howe than what they were previously. So it's no fluke. It's not money. It's not finances. It's not extra motivation because of bonuses or nothing financial. Like Eddie Howe's deserved everything that he's done for Newcastle. So whenever his time does come, like I say, if next season we're not playing European football, so our schedule's not as strenuous, we'll spend shit tons of money in the summer transfer window.
That sounds amazing.
But we're not performing where we need to be. We're sort of still 10th, and there's no excuses, and he gets sacked. He'll always be held in high regard in my book. Like, I'll never speak bad of Eddie Howe.
You mentioned Rafa Benitez being a highlight for you.
Yes.
He's been sacked today.
Sacked today. Aye,
Sacked
but
from Celta Vigo.
17th, to be fair, in La Liga.
That's not good.
Not very good for me.
What's happened to Rafa?
Well,
Getting old, getting past it.
Yeah.
Get yourself to Saudi, Rafa. Nice little payday for your son.
To be fair, he went to China for the money.
Well, he did, I.
That didn't really
Really
work out. Got
totally ruined his career. Should have stayed at the tune, Rafa.
Nah, you shouldn't have.
Nah,
You
would
got
never
out at the right time.
advise anyone to
Respect you for leaving
work
Newcastle.
under Mike Ashley.
Yeah,
Wouldn't want that
100%.
on my worst enemy.
No, not at all.
Tomorrow is 20,000 days since NUFC won the Fairs Cup, says Jasmine Black. 20,000 days. Don't know if that's true or not. Sounds like a long time. It is a long time, isn't it?
That's a mad stat.
But
Where's that come from?
Who's put that out? But
the fuck's worked that out? What?
Could have just given someone on Twitter.
When was that? Was that 69 or 68?
It was 69, wasn't it?
69. So what would you say? 20,000
20,000 days. Wait that out. Let us know if it's true.
What a fucking stat. I'm going to
get that in a postcard
right now.
Yeah. But we are coming to the last 5 minutes of this week's podcast, people. So get your questions in the live chat for us to answer before we sign out.
20,000 days is 54.79 years.
That still doesn't add up, does it? I have no idea.
It's near enough.
Long time.
Anyway.
So yeah, last few minutes, get your last few questions in there. Well, you did ask for some positivity, Keg. I said this could potentially be one, depending on how you see it, and that's what I want to find out from you. Links this week to Pedro Neto from Wolves, £60 million. Ooh. Apparently, we are leading the race ahead of Liverpool for the Portuguese right winger. Now, this is a winger that can actually score goals and assist, unlike Miguel Almiron at the best times. But he's also a winger that has his own injury concerns. Very injury prone. He's injured at the minute. He's played twice this season against Newcastle home away. Twice went off injured. So, don't know what they're watching there. That's why he's doing it. Eddie Housing. Now, this is my type of player.
I love an injury prone player.
Injured all the time. Injured all the time. Physio, you have a field, he snapped his knee as well. There you go. Do you know what I mean? What's going on? 60 million? 30 million enough wasn't only so let's double it, waste on Neto. There you go. I mean, I'm a big fan. Injury prone though.
I think he's a tremendous player. I'm a really, really big fan. Even without the injury concerns, I mean, the modern day market probably would value him at 60 million.
Oh, easy.
I think that's a bit overpriced, to be honest. I wouldn't be keen. 40, yeah, I can say 40. That's fair. I think 60 is a little bit too much, but you throw in his injury history, and I'd have him in the squad. Like if he was like a free agent and we were able to pick him up, or if he was in the last year of his contract and you got him for 20, 30, 40, then I'd have him. But yeah, 60 million, that's a lot. Like I said, I think that's overpriced without his injury concerns. Then yeah, you hoy that in. Yeah, I'm not paying that. Like fuck that.
Nah, I wouldn't pay that much. Like it's too much on out of a risk there for him.
That's my whole entire budget.
He is a top talent. Exactly, aye. PSR. Do you know what I mean?
Can't buy anyone else. Buy an injury prone winger class.
There we go. And there's some are done. Same team next season. Longstaff, Bin, and everyone else gets in. Let's finish off on a quick look towards Saturday night then. 5:30 kickoff. Etihad quarter final. The winner gets to Wembley. Let's try and be positive then.
Okay.
It's the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Magic of the FA Cup.
Right.
Giant killings.
Killing.
Can we do it?
No.
Great.
I wish I could have that positivity. And like I always say, like the FA Cup, it's one of the magical things. You never know what can happen. And I'll still say that. I'll always say that. I think the FA Cup's one of the greatest competitions still going. But when you play Man City away, you didn't really stand any fucking chance. I'm sorry, and I wish I could be more optimistic. Like, I would say if we were at home, optimistically, I would have said we could pull out a draw, like we have, we did last year, and almost did again this year.
Take the pens.
Could have took it to pens, and you never know. But away, no, there's no fucking hope in hell's chance.
No, I'm with you. Honestly, if it was at home, I wouldn't put it past us because, like I said earlier, we came close this year, 3-2 or 2-1 up, lost in the last minute. Last year, big draw, 3-3. I think we can compete, but it's Saturday 5:30 on the latest St. James's.
It's a different story.
Could be a different story.
Yeah.
But at the Etihad, our record's awful there.
Yeah.
I've just watched them against Manchester City. Manchester City against Manchester United. They destroyed them at home. at home, they're just a different beast, man. The way they zip the ball about so efficiently, so quickly.
Yeah.
Everyone's so talented. Everyone's so clinical. If it's anything less than 6, I think it'll be.
Well, this is back to like the Brucey Ashley days. Like that was always the crack in it. Like, oh, if we don't concede 5, it's a good result. Like that was always what we used to say about Man
We really
City.
have turned back the time this way, haven't
We
we?
really have. But if you start De Bruyne and Haaland, you just didn't stand a chance. And you got like your underdogs, like your Fodens and whoever else, like defensively they're good, midfield, up front. Everybody they've got is class. But yeah, Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland, if them start, yeah, it didn't stand a fucking chance.
No.
If you don't concede 4, I'd say that's a decent performance.
In either way, we're out of the cup. So it's like one of them ones where do you do what would normally do with a place like Man City, where it's probably sit back, you let them have the ball, frustrate them, everyone behind the ball, try and hit them on the counter with, well, what normally would be Anthony Gordon. He's probably going to be out, obviously.
I think I remember we'd done that. It was obviously pre-COVID. We watched... we watched it in the Garter.
Did we?
I think we got beat either 1-0 or 2-1.
Did we get robbed of a pen or something? Or did we miss a pen?
But Yedlin had a pretty good game, and I remember I think we kept it.
Oh, did
was
watch
it
it
close?
Lost 2-1.
Was it 2-1? Was it? I remember when almost like pulled it back last minute. Yedlin went on a mad run, and I think he squared, but I think the pass just wasn't right, and like that was one of our best performances, sort of. Like we're just defensive as fuck. We just held them back for so long. We were almost like the last 10 minutes. We were pushing for an equalizer. It's like, come on!
Even that, a little bit of hope would be nice. To not be 3-4, 5-0, 1 down with 10 minutes to go would be nice. If we're in the game, the chance of clawing something back would give us a bit of hope, and just to avoid embarrassment. To be fair, we sound like a really non-league team. I can't think he had, but that's how good Man City are. And how bad we are.
I was going to say it's not even how bad we are. It's no disrespect to Newcastle. Like obviously not trying to put we've been negative all episode. It's been unintentional, but
facts.
It is literally just trying to speak facts. And you go against Man City, your chances are slim to none.
No, they really aren't. It's going to be a tough afternoon for Newcastle. Like we said, stranger things have happened.
They have.
Never know.
You never
sneaky
know.
1-0 Longstaff. Sneaky 1-0.
Sneak anything. Absolutely
1-0 Tino. 3-2. You know what I mean? It's kind of... Listen, now without Gordon as well, it obviously takes away a lot of our firepower. He scored a great goal against them as well.
I know I've been blowing smoke off Tino's arse, but I think Trippier could be a big miss now.
Yeah,
so, no Trippier, no Gordon. Still not 100% sure on the fit. Well, I was going to say Isaac, but he's been banging them in recently. But Botman, is Botman going to start? The others, Longstaff's had been poor for a long time. Like, it's going to be good, like.
Looking bleak. I'm going to go on 6-2 Man City. You?
14-1.
14-1.
Realistically, what did you say?
6-2.
Oh, no, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
What, you think we're going to get 2 goals?
Yeah, I was going to say 4-2.
Yeah.
4-2, 4-1, but yeah, we're going to concede goals.
Yes, we are. Get your questions in. Last couple of minutes of the podcast. One earlier from Shieldsy. Where is the legal challenge from the other 14 teams? Surely they need to get together before the new rules get implemented.
It's a good point, to be fair.
One of things meant to go to panels of teams to decide these things.
Owners are meant to decide this, I'm sure, aren't they? Like every decision goes to the Premier League, and it's got to be sort of like a unanimous decision. Yeah, surely this can't pass, man, because it doesn't do any good for anybody but your cities. So, it's got to be spoken about, and every other team has to have a say, and it's only a bad thing for every other team. So, yeah, I cannot say this passing if that happens, but if it doesn't happen, then why? Is it just because the Premier League corrupt as fuck, and they just want like your Man Cities and Liverpool's just to absolutely smash it every year?
Seems that way.
Maybe so. Because financially, that might make sense for the Premier League. Like, they might, obviously, they're their biggest earners. So you think, just let them just make us loads of money. That'd be good.
Keep them up the top. Yeah. Keep the little man at the bottom. Other people are asking about Gordon. Is the injury really 6 months at the minute? Nothing.
It's not been
concrete
confirmed
on that. Twitter
just,
accounts.
Twitter rumors.
Don't believe everything you read on the old Twitter.
Absolutely not.
After recent performances, would you accept 80 to 100 million for Sven Botman, in brackets Maguire money, which is insane, if it means we can get after it in the summer market? Shout out 80 for being a member of the channel there as well. With a good question there. Would you? So obviously, we've had all this talk in recent months. Eels has responded to it. Will sell with superstars? He's at Bruno and Botman. They're the three biggest, youngest talents, you'd argue, with Gordon. Would you accept that? Mate, spent 30 for him.
How much was he? Was he 30?
32, something only 35?
35. It's a difficult question, and one that you've kind of got to think about, because on one hand, he's still so young, and he's going through a bit of a rough patch, but mate, he's fucking 23. Like, he's shown his qualities already. Like, he can get out of this patch. Like, he can get back to his best. And you got to think about what his best would be in a couple of years' time when he's 25, 26. What do you think his trajectory is?
Yeah.
If you don't think he's going to be worth 100 million, like 80's more than double what he's worth, that's what you've kind of got to think about. So, on his recent form, you'd take fucking 20p. But it's not that bad. But it's a difficult one, because for FFP, like, that's the big thing. Like you say, Darren Eales said we need to sell. So even, we'll spend 35 million on him a year and a half ago. If you got £100 million offer, it's hard to turn down, to be honest.
It is, like.
It really is. So,
really is.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. If you got 100 million, I think 80, you've got to weigh up options. You got, like you say, you got to think about his age, his trajectory, what he could be. But 100, you think, I'll take that. Like.
Aye. Well, the way I look at it, and like you mentioned the trajectory, because he's Dutch, the people refer to him as, he's the next Van Dijk.
Yeah.
And obviously, Liverpool paid 74 million for Van Dijk years ago.
You've seen his late 20s running. Like, he wasn't young.
Wow, 70 million for a defender.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, Botman in 3-4 years' time could easily be worth that if he played like he did last season. He
was 50.
Well, exactly. So you think of it that way. You think, well, if you spend that, then are you playing catch up? And will you ever be able to get one as good as him if he stays that way?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if someone offered me 100 million and then according to FFP and PSR,
that
means you'd then be able to spend 300 million, 400 million,
yeah, pretty much
triple that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I like Botman, not this past few months, but overall, I think he's a top talent. But if you're going to give me 100 million for him and say, right now he has 300 million, saying 3-4 players, top class players.
I'd take that,
I'm taking it.
I think 80's the sort of minimum. I think 80's where you start having discussions. But as soon as someone offers you triple figures, it's like, bang, no worries.
All our physios, Magnums in disguise. Look that way with that nil.
You know what it is? This has just been Newcastle's past. Like, as far as I can remember, we've always had bad injuries. I don't know if it's our surface.
It's that Benton training ground, man. We spent 10 million on it. It's still injuries all over.
Just even like way back in the day, like your Kieran Dyer days. Like, I just feel like Newcastle's always had a bad history of injuries.
Aye, we really have.
Like your Dyers, your Owens, your Woodgates, like.
Even when Clive and Luke came, big names.
Everyone just gets injuries, and I just feel like this is just such a Newcastle thing. Like, no one's safe. It's like being in the fucking Walking Dead.
No one's safe.
No one's guaranteed. Game of Thrones in this bitch.
It really is. I mean, we need to build it on new land, man. It's been built on fucking haunted burial grounds or something. Our training ground, like the way the injuries are. Yo from Atlanta.
Yo!
B-Rose. Not D-Rose, B-Rose.
B-Rose.
Last couple of questions then before we sign out. Thank you everyone that has left a comment on tonight's live stream. How much would you accept for prawn bong stuff? Good one, Tony. That's what I expect from you.
I like that.
Prawn bong stuff. It can't be out. Do me nicely. I can't blame Faith. Would be a good deal for prawn stuff. Sell long stuff to Saudi, says Clon Lad. I mean, 15 million, says Tactical Nozzle.
How much?
15 million. 50 million with the price tag you'd want to try and get. 15, 20. Honestly, I think he'd go for about 7.5.
7? Oh.
10 of the push. Because I'm telling you now, I said it last night, man. Name me a team in the Premier League that's not in the bottom 3 that Longstaff gets a game for. I'll get the table up.
But again, like, I'm not fucking having that. Like,
he loves Longstaff.
I'll fucking fight you right here, right now. But no,
right, so does Longstaff get a game for Nottingham Forest?
Yeah.
Nah, he doesn't. Like, not ahead of who's the midfield again? So that midfield.
Yeah, I can't really name that team.
I'd rather have fucking John Joe Shelby back.
Like again, it's
Everton, Onana, nope. Brentford, What's he called?
Probably not Everton.
Palace with thingy in there. Bournemouth, Fulham with I forgot everyone's name in the Premier
Maybe
League
not
now.
Fulham. Yeah, I know. What you
No, to
mean.
be fair, he probably does get into Forest. Maybe Everton's been linked with him, but the point is, below teams that are 13th, 14th, he doesn't get anywhere near any Wolves team, Chelsea, Brighton, West Ham, Man U, Spurs. The teams that are in and around us, none of them are starting Sean Longstaff. Going back to Canada with his brother, says Ben. Big up Matty. Done
Toronto
well.
FC.
Got an assist for Toronto in his debut.
So when he's good, and again, form's temporary, and he's on a bad run at the minute, I guess, but he's one of them like underrated players that like nobody really gives any credit to. But when he's playing good, he just helps the team tick along like so much better. He's never going to go for like the 50 that like Man United were rumored to have like when he first came through. But I think like when he's good, like he's just one of them players that just really does go underrated. I think especially if you sell to an English team, that English tax probably boosts it up a little bit. So under 10 million, I wouldn't fucking have that in the slightest. Like,
There's no point. May as well keep him as a squad
exactly.
player,
like I think squad depth. Like I think he's an amazing player just to kind of keep for the next 3 years while the team develops. I think having like especially Geordie born without sentiment. I think having someone like a Geordie who's really good for squad depth, who is one of them underrated players that does all this sort of shitty, gritty work that no one really wants to do.
Gritty.
Like, yeah, like I think his value is more than what it is, especially when it was under Steve Bruce, because literally you would have just get rid of him as a free agent. Like, literally, a fucking can of beer would have done me. But what Eddie Howe's done to him, I think he's better than that. I think he's worth more than 15 million, but yeah, how much more? I don't know, 25, 30.
I'd be fucking buzzing if we could get that much.
If we got that would be amazing. That's me. That's tops. So yeah, 20, 25. I think that's his average at best.
Kenny reminded here of Forest midfield, Sangara, Gibbs White, and Chioti. He's getting anywhere near them. Tell you what, we're swapping for Gibbs White or Forest.
Yeah, but Gibbs White isn't really like centre mid though, is he? He's not. He doesn't do the
10.
job that Sean Longstaff does. They're very different players.
Forest loves saying no players. Gibbs White and Longstaff swap deal. Tell you what, they took Chris Wood and Jelga bands.
True.
Have Longstaff. You can have Longstaff. You can have Bain. You can have Almiron. Get them all in.
Yeah.
Swapsies. That'll do them for this week's podcast. We will be back next Tuesday. Every Tuesday. Live at 7. International break next week, I believe, isn't it? FA Cup this week, break, and then West Ham on the 30th, I think is our next fixture.
Is that the next one after?
The week international break next week. Southgate uses team this Thursday. Yeah. Early kick-off, 12:30 for that one.
Big wrestling event on here at Anarchy.
On that day.
Geordie Rick may well be at. We might well be at.
We might well be. Tell you what, Geordie Rick wants to go out at 10 o'clock in the morning, so I don't think he's making the match. That'd be interesting. But we'll be back next week. We are going to get some special guests on the podcast as well very soon. So keep your eyes peeled or your ears open for that one. Ready for it. Spotify, if you've been listening on Spotify, make sure you drop a follow on the podcast there and give a 5-star review if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
That'd be nice.
That. And any other platform you listen on, Google Podcasts, any other ones that are out there, let me know. Follow, hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube, and enjoy yourself.